Hi, writers. Just a quick walkthrough for assignment number 3 to clarify what I'm looking for on some of these items. So, assignment number 3 is a beginning inquiry for paper number 1 and a search journal. And keep in mind that some sections of the iSearch paper require you to just talk about uh, your research process. So you want to make sure that you are keeping track of all the steps in your research process so that when it's time to write the paper, you remember how you went about the research process. So this is really about being really intentional with the way that we are going through the research process. Part 1 here on page 1 is just about clarifying your topic, creating research questions, and this section here will help you write section number 1 of your iSearch paper. So you can almost use this as sort of a rough draft or an outline of the first section of your paper. So here in the first box, you'll clarify your topic. So you should have chosen a topic by this point. Of course, you can always switch. So if you begin the research process and you end up switching topics, that's part of your research journey, and you will talk about that in your paper. But for now, what topic do you think you will choose? Now, keep in mind you should be as specific as possible and as narrow as possible at this point. So we don't want to say just how social media impacts us. Okay, so that's a little bit vague because social media, first of all, is pretty vague. So you may want to talk specifically about Instagram or Facebook. You could get more specific there. Impacts us, who is us? So you could say teenagers, you could say college students, you could say children. And then what type of impact are you talking about? So if you can get this broad at this point, how social media impacts teenagers' body image, right? So you want to get as specific as possible. You have an overall research question, and that's going to be probably this sort of turned into a question. Research questions should be open-ended questions. They should never be questions that one source will answer for you. So we want to write a question that's open-ended. How does social media usage impact teenagers' body image? So, for example, a not a good research question would be something like, when was the internet invented? Because that has one answer. The answer is whenever that is, right? So that's not an open-ended question. Beyond the research question, you're going to have sub-questions. So how does social media usage impact teenagers' body image? You might look into, a sub-question sort of underneath that question is, how much time do teenagers spend on social media? And then how do social media accounts portray teenage bodies? So, sort of sub-questions. You may have more sub-questions. In fact, it's a good idea. If so, just add more here, but at least 2 sub-questions. And again, these should be, really organic to the topic that you are exploring. You can sort of think, as I am researching this, what things will I need to know in order to help me answer this question? Section 3, you're going to explain why you care about this topic, what has made you curious about it, what motivates you to learn more about it. So that can include any personal experience. Maybe it's important to your major, to your career field. Maybe you care about it for a particular type of reason. So explain that there. Again, what you already know about this topic. So that can be anything you've learned previously or what you assume to be true. So I think it has a negative impact, or I think it has a positive impact, or well, I learned a little bit about it in a previous class and here's what we talked about. So again, be specific and detailed in this section. The more specific and detailed you are in these sections now, the more of a rough draft and an outline you have that becomes section 1 of your paper. Part 2 here on page 2 is beginning your inquiry and going through the actual beginning search process. So some of you may have already started to Google your topic or to do some research on your topic. If that's true, you want to go to your history and take those first few things that you were searching, like what were your search terms, right? And add those to this chart. So start from the very beginning. This chart will help you keep track of your research. You should intentionally be researching all sides. So intentionally looking at positive and negatives, intentionally looking for different perspectives on the topic. Also, before just open Googling your topic, it's a really good idea to go specifically to actual websites. So these are from both sides, but center. So center leaning a little bit left is okay, center leaning a little bit right is okay. But so for example, I want you to actually go to npr.org and then search here, or whatever types of sites you choose. So here I'm going to search social media body image, just using the key terms and seeing if there's anything here. And you even want to keep track of where you searched, even if it didn't pull up anything, because that is a part of your search process as well. I'm going to go actually to New York Times. And I'm going to search here for social media and body image, right? So try going directly to the websites. You can, of course, open Google your topic, but you want to be really careful only to click on things that appear to be credible sources. Additionally, you want to go to UCM's library webpage and search there, and you will find a video lesson on how to search that, how to use UCM's library website as well. So you're going to have a minimum of 5 web sources or UCM library sources on your chart. On the left column, you are putting the URL of where you found it, as well as the author, if there's an author listed, or the organization. So if it's just written by NPR without a particular author, you're going to put the organization here. And the date it was published. One sign of a credible source is there is a publishing date for the article or for the essay or for the study. Over here on the right, you're just going to explain what the source is and what you found on it and how it impacted your research. So did it add good information? Did you find it to be not credible? Do you think you're going to use it? So any sort of journaling about the source. Again, the more specific and clear you are on this side, this will eventually become part of what you include in your paper. So you do want to, the more and the better quality work you do now, the easier actually putting your paper together will be. There's a note here for you on the bottom. Even beyond this assignment, as you continue to research, you want to keep track of all of your research moves and everywhere you're searching. So I do recommend creating a separate document to keep track of sources even after you submit this as you continue finding sources. Let me know if you have any questions.